Hey guys,
Good morning.
good morning.
It is morning, right?
It is morning and it is good.
Oh, it's bright and sunny here. Had a beautiful day yesterday.
Hey Ashley,
Yeah.
so at Tony's event, you know what's funny is after I gave you a hug, I stuck out my hand to shake your hand, and you just completely, I don't think you even saw it, and you walked right by. And the funny thing is, Ian was watching the whole thing. I think he got a good chuckle out of it. So
The funny thing is like while I was hugging you, I was like thinking like, do I put out my hand for a handshake afterwards?
What beats a hug anyway? You know, a handshake? No.
a hug then a handshake. You can't beat that.
Well, a handshake and a hug is better.
Awesome.
So end it with a hug.
A Zoom meeting. I'll reach out later today and then jump
That's
right
too
on
funny.
here.
Oh.
You blew him off, huh?
I did, rude.
That was rude.
I tell you, those 7:30 huddles with Bill Pipes every day, Monday through Friday, really gets me. After I'm done with him for half an hour, then I go back and lay down for an hour till your class. So I'm just waking up again this morning.
Are you enjoying his stuff?
Oh, it's always good, and I think everything he does is good. You know, I don't know if did you guys see the post that came out a couple days ago about Brent Gove coming to Salem, Oregon?
Oh, I did, and you actually left me a message. Sorry I didn't reply to that.
That's okay, in July. So, you know, that's only 45 minutes from where I lived in Harrisburg all those years, you know, for 10 years. That's where we moved back up from, you know, 5 years ago. And my father-in-law's still down there, and we haven't seen him for years. So, we're going to go down there, and we're going to make a little vacation out of it too, so that we can
Nice.
visit his dad's 84 years old now. So, you know, what better time to do
Dante
that?
lives in Salem, so I'm sure she'll be there.
Well, I was gonna, yeah, I also texted Stacy too, and I guess supposed she was gonna go, and then she has a surprise birthday party for her mother-in-law. So I guess she won't be able to go, but she said to check with Shantae and also Nathan too, because Nathan lives in Sweet Home, right? I think. So
Well, closer.
yeah. So I mean, it's all in that general vicinity. I mean, it's 45 minutes to an hour's drive from, you know, south of Harrisburg is about 45 minutes to an hour's drive south of Salem. So we can go and visit with him and stay with him, and I can drive up there.
What's the dates, Kathy?
Is the July 20? Let me get the calendar. July 20.
Nate, what she's talking about is going to Salem, Oregon. Brent Gove's gonna be there for one of the regional events, and
Yeah.
she was wondering if you were gonna try and head up to that. She's looking up the dates
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
a Friday and a Saturday, July 26th and 27th. And it's an all-day event. I think it even goes in. There's different pricing on it. I think the lowest is 97. It's at the Salem Convention Center, is where it's being held at. You know, of course, that's, you know, like an stadium, a concert venue type thing setting. And there's different prices for the seats. I think it starts at 97 is the lowest one, and that's further back. You know, kind of like if you're buying tickets to go to a concert. You know, the cheaper seats are not the best seats, but it also the higher seats, also the higher price seats also come with some other amenities, like maybe a dinner afterwards or something like that. So it's all spelled out. If you go on Build 24 dash sale or Build 24 Salem, that's the link basically. Build 24.
Cool,
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, there's no reason I shouldn't go, because we have to go and see his dad anyway too. So we'll probably just take our RV down there, or we'll stay at his house. Either way, we have a place to stay, you know. So yeah.
Cool. Hey, good morning,
Really?
Shayna.
Look at her EXP luxury
I
background.
know, that's, your living room is sharp. Sabrina, nice to see you on here.
Hi.
Hi.
It's funny
Nate,
because
did I interrupt you?
oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Nope. Get used to that. We all overtalk each other.
I just was laughing because I'm never like ready on this call. So it's like I have this luxury background and then I'm not ready for the day. So
Nice.
it's very fitting.
Perfect.
My transaction is all but ready to close early. They had a clean bill of health for inspection. They didn't even, there was no repairs or anything. And then the people that are buying our house, our listing, is their inspection also is all ready to go. So now we're waiting on the first person in the leg of this, the first rung of it, to see where they're at with their closing. So it's all going really fast. So hopefully we can close early.
Awesome. That's awesome, Kathy. Well, let's talk more about that when we get to like wins and losses and challenges and stuff like that. Let's get started. I mean, thanks for being here, guys, on time. I don't know who else is going to jump on, but for us, obviously, you're kind of getting familiar with the agenda now. So we're going to talk. Here's our agenda. Ashley's going to go up first. And bring us back, circle around to her closing thoughts from last week, which were awesome. Then we'll kind of get into, the recognitions, and Sabrina, we even have a slide with your name on it. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. And then we'll talk about some of our trainings and events, tips, and then I've got the parting thoughts for today. And you'd be thinking, you guys that are on the call, Ashley and I were talking just before we jumped on Zoom, how, we kind of got a pretty good rotation going through for our opening thoughts and closing parting thoughts. So if anybody would like to volunteer that hasn't done one in a minute at the end of this call, just kind of be thinking about that. We'll talk about that. So Ashley, you're up first.
Okay, so this was the quote that I had at the end of last week. Receive everything with thankfulness and you'll be made glorious. And the things you want and need will flow to you 100 times faster and easier. So over the week, I kind of just really focused on like being very verbal about giving thanks, versus like just that feeling of like gratitude, just being very verbal about it. And then I wanted to read another little part from the book.
Remind me of the book.
Oh, it's the Sultan's 7 Secrets is the book. And I wanted to read a little part of that. And then if anybody has anything that they want to share, if they, practice over the week or anything, then we can talk about that. But when you're thankful for the things you receive, more of what you want is drawn into your life. You can put it to the test and see results with your own eyes. If you're having trouble with an employee, a spouse, a child, a friend, neighbor, or anyone else, try thanking them sincerely for anything and everything they do right and watch what happens. Be subtle and smart, start off small, and increase the instances of thanking them over time. There is no better way to transform a bad relationship. If you're having trouble in any area of your life, take finances, for example. Try offering thanks for every dollar you have, and for every dollar that has ever come to you in the past, and for every dollar that will come to you in the future. So I just really like this concept.
Remind us again what you talked about last time about the difference between gratitude and being thankful. Being grateful and thankful.
Yeah, thankful, I think it's just verbalizing it, like verbalizing it out loud. For example, like they're saying like financially, when every time like a dollar comes to you, just verbally, like, thank you for this. And then more of what you want will come to you. And
along those lines, obviously, we're grateful for people that are in our lives too, right? And sometimes I know it's a fault of mine, I don't express it enough. Once you express your gratitude and it becomes thankfulness, that's really kind of a trigger that brings more of that into your life, more things to be grateful for. So did you have anything from this week specific?
No, really, the only thing that stands out to me was my mom and I, we were going to Oak City and we were driving and there was a semi truck that kind of like hit the side barrier, and we kind of had this moment where it could have like flipped in front of us and we had nowhere to go. And it didn't happen, but we verbally were just like, thank you so much, like that everything was safe and good. And that's just one thing that stands out to me that I think
Yeah, super
was
cool.
big. Yeah.
Any of you have any thoughts on that?
I'll share something. It's not necessarily the gratitude part, but it goes along with it, kind of goes along with it as far as being like very clear on what you're sharing. Like, oh, I found a penny on the ground, or I like how it broke it down into every single dollar. Someone on a Facebook post asked me who I mostly work with as far as real estate goals, and I said, you know, I said sellers and then luxury, and then she asked what kind of sellers, and I was like, I started thinking about it, and Shane and I had a conversation. I said, really, like recently we've worked with divorced people and then people who are moving up. Those are kind of the divorced people aren't necessarily our ideal clients, but the move ups are. But we just have worked really well with divorced people. And shortly after that, we got 3 referrals for divorce situations. So we were just, got very specific and more clear on that. And 2 of them are solid referrals. I think Shanna has a listing appointment with one of them later this week. One was from like a Google review, and one's another referral. It's not quite ready, but they'll refer them to us. So I think gaining clarity through being more specific is helpful. But I'm just from what you shared and in my experience, I'm going to start applying that to gratitude and just see where it goes. I think it'll make it that much more powerful.
I love it. Once again, James is the master of manifestation.
I want to.
Yeah,
Oh.
I gotta be careful because yeah, anyway, I'll just leave it at that.
Watch your thoughts, James.
That's true.
I want to add to that. So with what Ash said, I feel like, so one thing that we're learning a lot in the elevated coaching that we do with Tony Child is that, so you can have a lot of thoughts of gratitude, but like you said, like verbalizing it and saying it out loud, that's one thing that has been part of our practice of just saying it out loud, and also other things like writing it, speaking it, not just thinking it. And so doing all those other things are very, very powerful in how they show up for you. And so writing it out every single day is also a really good thing. I notice a big difference when I'm writing. I have a purpose and a vision statement, and if I write it out every day, I just have a more impactful week than I would if I didn't write it out. So that's another way of doing it.
Speaking of writing it out, one thing that popped in my mind that I've been doing lately is the cards, right? Handwritten cards. So when we think of somebody that has maybe impacted our lives or that we are thankful for, as you guys know, I've got like pre-printed cards, and on the outside, there's 3 sets. One says, thank you. One just says thinking of you. And the other one says, congratulations. So for whatever's going on, whoever I'm writing to, I can just, and they're generic, they're blank. Other than that, they just kind of have, our name on the back. I don't put a card in or anything like that, but that's just all it has on the front of it. But sending a thank you card to somebody and say, hey, I'm thankful for you being part of my life, or whatever the impact they've had on you and stuff, is super impactful. And I was just thinking, Shayna, while you were talking, and because you mentioned Tony Child, just the fact that you got up and shared your gratitude and your thankfulness for Tony, and the impact that he's had on your lives and James and your relationship and all that kind of stuff. Just think how much more that means to him by you expressing that, not just to him, but in public as well. Those are the kind of things that motivate people like that to continue doing what they're doing, because now they have, that validation, that proof that they're actually affecting people's lives, which is their passion in the first place. So consider those cards.
Guys, this reminds me of a training we just had about 3 or 4 weeks ago, with I can't remember his name. He did the Sandler, buyer seller dance. Travis. Yeah. And I've gone through some of that Sandler training years ago. And one thing that Sandler teaches is being thankful and very grateful, and attracting referrals, kind of like through your SOI. But there's a balance of being like over the top or too thankful or grateful to other people, and you don't want to seem like sappy, I guess is kind of the word I would use. But we're talking about being grateful and thankful, how it's powerful. Like you can sit in your own home or in your office and say how grateful and thankful you are, and good things can happen to you. But it's also when you're talking to your friends and your clients and people that refer you business. And I'll never forget, one of the trainings in Sandler was when you're asking for a referral, he would specifically say, slow your speech down, lower your voice when you are saying, hey, if you send me someone, one of your friends, to help you in real estate, I promise to take really, really good care of them. And it's kind of a, hey, make sure people know I really appreciate and thank you for sending this referral to me. It means a lot to me. So don't be afraid to let other, your really great SOI, let them know how grateful and thankful you are for thinking of you. And it's really important. That it just kind of fits in. It reminds me of that, of being grateful. Let other people know too. When you do receive something, don't just say, oh, thanks, I really appreciate it. That's cool, you thought of me. I mean, let them know that it means a lot to you, and be genuine about it.
Yeah, maybe even publicly thank them, like on your social media or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
Give people accolades. Social media can really screw people up, I think, in a lot of ways. But using it for good like that to give somebody a shout out publicly is pretty awesome, and it make somebody feel really good. And just like the whole manifestation law of attraction a thing is, like the more we are grateful and the more we take the opportunity to express our thanks, the more we have to be grateful for. It's just, we just open ourselves up for more opportunities for that. Anybody else? Any thoughts on that? We'll kind of move on to the next slide. Sabrina's going, I thought we were talking real estate. What's going on here, man? These guys are sappy. Sorry, we are. So speaking of Sabrina, though, I told you had a slide. Sabrina and Jillian. Some of you might have met Jillian. She is Kitty Chimi's sister. She's moved to Florida, but she's joined our team recently, or EXP, and with our organization. And then there's Sabrina. She just turned on her video. Shayna, why don't you introduce
I
Sabrina?
put the wrong state on there.
Oh,
I was gonna say, did that mean Florida or did it mean frontline, or what did it mean?
Well, it's supposed to be the state, but I screwed that up.
Okay, yeah, I'll introduce Sabrina. So Sabrina, hi, welcome. So Sabrina's awesome. She is one of the first agents that I ever met when I started my career. We've kind of ebbed and flowed doing our thing, and I'm really excited for her to be here. She actually lives in Kentucky right now, and she'll be duly licensed in Utah and Kentucky. And she's very, very knowledgeable of the market or the industry, everything. She's very smart. Her family, her and her husband flip homes. I don't know, I'll let you speak for yourself, Sabrina, but they also moved to a beautiful home in Kentucky, and you guys have been kind of fixing it up as you go. And so that's just what they do. They're really good at that. And I don't know, I can't say enough about her. I'm just excited for her to be here. I'm excited to collaborate with her and to help her grow her business in a way that is different than from how she has before. And it's going to be awesome. So maybe can I have her speak for herself first?
Hi. Okay. Yeah, so just a little bit, yeah, she basically said everything. But yeah, we moved to Kentucky about a year ago, so it'll be a year in June. And we've just have been just getting things settled and situated here, but it was a big move for our family. So And then now I feel like it's time to get back into real estate. So here I am.
That's awesome. Shayna and Sabrina and I were on a call. Well, what was it, a couple weeks ago? Time goes by so.
About a week ago. It was a
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, I enjoyed getting to know you, Sabrina, and kind of your story. Very, very impressed on why you moved, and so happy to have you here. I think you fit in really well with this group. We've got a lot of service-oriented people in here that are just out there trying to help people. Just that's our business model, really. It's like we don't talk a ton about scripts and cold calling and all of that kind of stuff. We do talk about real estate strategies, of course, but really the premise is find ways to help people, and your business just seems to really, really grow. So I'm excited for you to be getting back in and for us to be able to collaborate together.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. So
Sabrina, are you in Florida now, or did you move to Utah? I didn't quite catch
Oh,
that.
I'm in Kentucky actually. So
Oh, Kentucky, okay.
yeah,
That was
last
a
year.
typo, Kathy.
Yeah, it's typo. It's like I spelled their name.
I wouldn't say Florida. It's like better weather.
Oh yeah, Ashley said, and I spelled her name wrong, so awesome.
It's okay.
So that other list is actually the list of our most current cappers. So that is great. Shantae's on there. Thurkle. I don't know how many of you know Thurkle. He used to be down in St. George. Now he's up in northern Utah. He's in our commercial division. And most of you know Heidi. Heidi is actually the #1 individual agent in Utah in running, like every year, I think, since she's been here. So she's awesome.
Christy Cruz is no longer with EXP. I don't know if you knew that or not. Did you?
Yeah, I knew she moved on, but she still is showing up. Ashley has her on the list. She shows up as a capper, so
Okay.
giving her a shout out anyway,
Yeah.
wherever she's going. You want to start us on your new slide here?
It's not a new slide, it's the same slide. Does anyone have anything that they want to talk about? Opportunities, wins, kind of challenges, market conditions, upcoming client needs, anything popping up for anybody?
Okay, I'll go. So James kind of already talked about it, but it is really interesting when you manifest things or put things out there. I never thought in a million years that we would actually say that we work with divorced couples or divorced anybody. Like, that's really odd, but it's been actually really great because we have, I think we work well with them because they feel safe and secure knowing that both of us are on their team, and that we have, I don't know, I actually don't know what they think, but it just seems to be working well for us. And let's see, I was going to say something. Oh, what I think is interesting, I'm actually going to post a reel on this today sometime. But it's really funny, within a couple days of each other. Let's see, I got some screenshots. One day, March 26th, I believe, we get, the news article that says new report ranks Utah as one of the least affordable places to buy a home in the US. And then 2 or 3 days later, we get Utah named most affordable state in newly released report. And so I just thought it was really funny to see people posting about it, talking about it. I mean, obviously, when you get into the grid of it, I think Kitty posted the most affordable article recently, and some people were like, wait, I'm confused. I just saw an article the other day saying we were not the most affordable. And she was just saying, like, differentiating the difference between real estate and then cost of living and all of those things. And anyway, my point is that I'm like, how much energy and effort do we put into the news? Like, how much do we let that allow us to make decisions for us? And so that's kind of what my message is going to be about, is like, we also have, James did a recent data poll where, I mean, there are so many sales happening, like the sales are picking up. And so it's like, okay, we can complain about it being a good market or most affordable state or least affordable state or whatever you're hearing on the news, but yet houses are still selling, they're still moving. And so it's like, what do you want to focus on? And so that's kind of my thinking this week is I'm all about the manifesting and putting it out there, and just like all these people are starting to call us, it's crazy. And I'm like, it's all about my mind and where my mind is. And so just wanted to share that with you.
That's gonna be a great post. The thought that popped into my mind is what you were talking about. There's so much news out there, right? Everybody's their own media outlet. Do we really know what to believe and what not to believe when we see so much contradicting information out there? Now with AI, holy shit. It's like, is that even a real picture? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do we believe? Is this a real article? Is it a test? Is it April Fool's? What's going on here? And so our clients need us to be the one that quiets the noise and be their guide through the process to help decipher the clutter and click, just get through all the clutter that's out there and say, Shana, what's really going on? I'm hearing this and this and this and this. And if you can just get people to that point where you're the person they call and say, hey, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about real estate. I need your take on it. We're there to protect them. We're there to guide them, and we're there to be, their running buddy through their transactions and help them accomplish their goals. Who gives a shit what's going on in the market or the politics or this and that? If they want to be a homeowner and set up roots or whatever, then you're the person to help them do that. And there's a lot of things that will prevent them from taking action when they really want to. It's their life goal, their dream, and they're confused because of all the stuff they sell. So if we can be that lighthouse, right? If we can be that one person that they come to, then maybe just the thought of you guys enjoying working with divorced couples and the fact that you've got such a strong marriage and that you can be there for somebody else that's struggling in an area where you're not, you're just attracting that to you or whatever. But even to that, to be that beacon for them and somebody that can help them guide through that process. I mean, divorce and buying and selling real estate together, those are two really huge things in life. So yeah, just to quiet all that stuff down there and all that confusion. That's a good talking point, Shane. I think that's a great post because it'll just bring it right back to, call me. I'll help you figure it out.
Well, when you think about what I just said too about the divorced clients, they don't care about what the market's doing. They're in their situation, that is what it is. And it's like what Tony talked about on Wednesday. It's like we have circumstances or uncertainty that happens in our lives and we either get to choose the hostile mindset or the friendly universe or the hostile universe, and which direction we want it, what side do we want to be on. And so it's actually funny. It's not funny. It's cool. But like James and I are going to dinner with the couple that we just sold. They're divorced and we're going to dinner with them on Wednesday. And so they're just taking us to dinner for thanking us for everything we did for them. And it was just a really overall good experience through a really hard time for them. So it's a big win.
Awesome.
Hey, Shana, I think that's a really good point. What you said about situation and divorce. I mean, there's dozens of reasons why people need to make a move. So if we're just looking at the news or we think that that's all people are thinking about is the news and interest rates, we miss out on the point that people, it doesn't matter what interest rates are when people get divorced, transferred, have another child, need another bedroom, or it's just, there's so many reasons why people need to move. And maybe it's really kind of a small little market of people that are saying, I'm not going to move up even though I want to, because my rate right now is low and I don't want to get a higher rate for a convenience. So those are the type of people that might not be wanting to move right now, but it doesn't eliminate the other dozens of reasons, like you said, that people do move. And also, if you're in the market right now, you can feel it, that it is shifting, it is changing, it is it's definitely, there's a lot more buyers that are out there. And I've really appreciated the last month, a lot of our education, Jeff, on and Ashley on Wednesdays of kind of a macro of what's going on, and then also a micro of our real estate market. It's been really, really helpful to see what's going on and look at the past, and how home prices continue to go up regardless of the rates, or the economy or unemployment. It's really incredible how strong the real estate market is over time. And just this last week, Michelle and I put an offer in on a property we didn't get, and we showed that property 3 weeks ago to a buyer. It's been active this entire time, and it's in the 850 range. So when my buyer finally decided, hey, let's write an offer, we're going to come in a little bit lower. It's been on the market a while. It just so happened there were 2 other offers that came in at the same time, and we didn't get it. And so kind of interesting. It's like, well, yeah, if we would have moved a few weeks ago, maybe we would have had a better shot at it, right? At a lower price, but things are changing a little bit. And then we ended up writing another offer on a different property, and it's a multiple offer situation on a new listing. And so even at a higher price range, there's buyers out there that are looking right now, and it's a good opportunity. And rates aren't, the end all be all for sure of what's happening.
And I think that data is good to have, because depending on your person, they may not be up on how many homes are sold. They just may be stuck on the interest rate, like Eric was saying. And so if they're stuck on that, that's about as far as you can get with some people. But so I'm going to start posting weekly, like a report from Weber County, Davis County, and Salt Lake County, and just to have those numbers on top of my mind. Because last week there are 376 pending sales just in Salt Lake County. Then you look at like new active listings, there's 458, and the number of sales just from the 20th to the 26th was 196. And that's 1 week. So stuff is moving. And I think if you, at least in my mind, it works like if you have a conversation like that, you're like, oh, other people are doing it, maybe I can do it too. And it kind of gives them permission to look into it more, rather than just getting stuck on an interest rate that isn't really that important. And my second point of saying that is it's a win for me. I started following Alex Padroni's kind of posting stuff on Instagram or wherever, her little protocol. So I'm going to do, my market report was the post, and then I've tried to do a couple reels, and these reels are not that exciting in my opinion. Like I took one driving and I took some clouds, and that was it. And I said, who likes a good cloud formation? And I just put some trending audio on there. I just saw it was Leonard Skinner. I didn't even listen to it. Honestly, I was making this at the stoplight while I was waiting, and I put it out there, and I got like 2,000 views on it. And because I used a trending audio, and the vast majority of those are non-followers. And so if you're looking to get more into the social media aspect of it, I'd say look at her training again. It's super simple, and you just kind of get started. And I got a notice from Instagram that I had a reel that got 1,000 views. I'm like, are you serious? That's crazy. And so I went on there and looked at it. I didn't even mean to make a reel on this one, to be honest. So just push buttons is what I'm saying. But I got that notice, and then I shared it to my stories, and in 15 minutes I got an extra like 250 views. These people have no idea who I am, but now this may take them to like my profile and how it looks and everything. So I just want to give a shout out to that training, because it works. So it's kind of cool.
It might be that radio voice you have.
Well, I'm not talking. I don't talk. I think it was Leonard Skinner, to be honest. So
just Leonard Skinner. That's a good.
Once we put my voice on there and the views drop, then we can make a correlation. But until then.
Hey, James, I'm curious. With those stats you just mentioned, did you happen to run kind of the difference of what it was maybe 3 months ago, like what the stats were and kind of the trend line?
No, because this was my first time doing it. I would like to maybe put some arrows in there, but I'm not 100% certain where I'm going to go with it. So, but I think I think trend lines would be interesting, but I haven't gotten around to doing that. It's a whole work in progress, but
That's cool. Just curious. Thanks.
yeah, there was what training was it was the training at the tax hive, and I think it was Jake Breen. He was talking about it. You should go back and watch that training because it's really good. He breaks down like the ebb and flows of the market in Utah and everything. And whoever else was there, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but he said like a vast majority of the appreciation occurs, I would say, in the months of March, April, and May. And then it's just a little bit, and he had graphs to kind of support that. But so I might use that same methodology, but does that sound about right, Jeff and
Yep.
Ashley?
Yep. It may have gone into June a little bit, but it's that
Yeah.
springtime, right? And then he was correlating that when prices are the lowest, October, November, December, leading through the holidays and stuff. And Jordy even chimed in and said that that's when he tries to buy most of his flips is in that time, and then sell them in the high part. You get that fluctuation of the market conditions just from the seasonality of it. So yeah, super cool stuff. That was a really good training. It's on our YouTube channel, probably in Team Limitless Facebook group too. Shayna, you'll have to invite Sabrina to the Facebook group if you'll do that. And then yeah, I'd like to do friend requests and stuff like that. Cool. Keeping track of the time. We're after 10:30. So speaking of trainings, last Wednesday was Tony Childs. He's always brings such great energy. He really, this was, Eric, were you able to join on Zoom? Yeah, you'll have to watch it, man. He did a really good job. It was his birthday, so maybe that was part of his energy or whatever. But everybody in there had such great feedback on what he presented. There was a few people that want to pursue his next events and trainings and courses and stuff. And I know James and Shane are immersed in his world, but that was really good. And Sabrina will get you the link to where we store some of these recordings of our past trainings. There's like 4.5 years worth on there, so don't get too lost. But that was awesome. And I think this week's going to be pretty awesome too. Look at it. I'm wearing the same outfit. Surprise.
That's like a picture from like years ago too.
Right.
You
I
know,
have my
wear your watch.
What'd you say, Eric?
You gonna wear your watch on Wednesday?
It broke. I mean, it was the craziest thing. It just broke, and I haven't missed it really. I used to rely on it so much, and it was such a distraction. All your text messages come through on it and all that shit, and it's like, no, I'm not. I never replaced it. But just, on the theme of real estate and investing and talking points with our clients and people being confused about what's going on in the market and should they get in, should they not? I'm going to kind of go back because you guys know I started doing, not that I've done it consistently every year for 30 years, but I started 30 years ago collecting properties. Every time I went to visit my grandpa, he would show me, he was a collector. He had a coin collection like you wouldn't believe. He even collected 8-inch strands of barbed wire. You would not believe how much an 8-inch strand of barbed wire can cost to a collector. He had plaques in his garage of all these things. He collected the Avon bottles. Remember the old Avon bottles that were in the shape of cars and different things? He collected those. And the only comeback I could ever have is, well, I collect houses. I don't collect anything else. So anyway, 30 years history in real estate. There's just some lessons learned there. So some of it's going to be just kind of mindset, the mindset that goes behind creating a passion to actually do anything really, but having a passion to invest in real estate has you push through when others are fearful and they're not doing anything. But we can use that in looking forward too. I really believe that the future is predictable and our retirement can be predictable and secure when we link to real estate. There's a lot of other variables in life that aren't as predictable, but when real estate comes into play, and especially if we're talking geographically for us that are right here in Salt Lake County, northern Utah County, this hub, this area, it doesn't matter what the stories that Shane is talking about, like least affordable, most affordable, this and that. right now anyway, and for the next foreseeable future, this is where people want to live. And this is where jobs are migrating to. And so by that, I mean, there's a very predictable nature. If you own a piece or pieces of that, that you're gonna do really, really well. So we'll share some of that with you guys on Wednesday. And then after that, who we got? We got Dr. Anthony. He came in once and sponsored lunch. He's going to talk about stress, right? What is it? Stress overload syndrome. So it's a health and wellness kind of personal development thing. And of course, he's a chiropractor, so chiropractic kind of plays a role in that. I've learned a lot because once he came into here in our office, I actually signed up, went in there, did x-rays. He checked out where I needed improvement, where my degeneration was, and this and that. And I'll just as a testimonial, I feel friggin' amazing, and I didn't even think I needed a chiropractor. It was just like preventative for me, trying to stay healthy. I want to be active for my grandbabies, all of that kind of stuff. And I had no idea in just a couple of months that I would feel so much better, that I had issues that he's corrected that were causing tension and soreness. And I just thought it was normal muscle fatigue from working out and all that kind of stuff. And it's all gone. My range of motion is better. Anyway, I don't know how much even about chiropractic he's going to talk about, but he's coming into our office on the following Wednesday. And he will be on Zoom too, Sabrina and Kathy, for you guys out of state. And then what we got, Mikkel, you want to just tell them briefly who they are?
Yeah, so Mikkel and Austin, they're with the Feel Life Yourself, which is kind of a neuro reprogramming program that my mom and I did, and they're going to talk about why discipline doesn't work and kind of like going through your debilitating patterns that might be holding you back, and how to recover from those. And they're super passionate about what they do, and they're really excited to share with us. But those are the things that we have coming up the next couple weeks. And Jeff just went to the bathroom because he's doing 75 hard. So he's drinking so much water, but he's our parting thoughts today. I guess we can, is there anybody that wants to do next week? Volunteer. No. Okay, well, I will reach out to somebody and get somebody to do next week. And we'll just wait for Jeff to get back. You looked right as it was your turn.
You were talking. Did you run out of things to say?
I didn't have that much to say about it.
Oh, that's not very encouraging.
I always have something to say.
Go, Kathy.
I just wanted to say on April 24th, though, which is Wednesday, I'll be flying to Atlanta to see my boys, my son and son-in-law, spend about a week with them before I go to Bill Pipes's event in Orlando. I'll go there for 4 days, and then back to Atlanta just for, I'm using Atlanta because that's the main stopover for me. And so I get to see my kids and kind of combine vacation with work. So
Awesome.
excited. So
Good for you. I can tell you're looking forward to that.
What's that?
I said, I can tell you're looking forward to that. That'll be a good trip for
I
you.
am so much. Yep. So anyway, yeah, all good.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, Ashley's got me queued up here. So I'm reading this book right now, Strategic Acceleration, Succeed at the Speed of Life. You can kind of imagine maybe what he means by the speed of life. How many of you think that life is moving really, really, really fast? And if you look back to like our parents' days or our grandparents' day, life was a little bit slower. Even for me in high school, we talk about it. It's like, man, I miss the good old days when, you didn't have all of this stuff and things happen so fast. He talks about how many of you have been asked, especially if you're in a coaching program, what does your life look like in 5 years? right? I mean, that's pretty common. So you can project and say, okay, what do I want? And then that you reverse engineer that. What do I need to do today to make that happen? Well, he proposes in this book, it's like, well, maybe it, because of the speed of life, what it should be is, what do you want your life to be like next week? Because it's ever changing and new things are coming out, new things are interrupting us. So as I was reading this, I came across a concept that is in the book called the effectiveness ladder. There's 4 rungs to this ladder. So I want to explain this to you, and then maybe you could look it up online. This is Tony Geary. Tony Geary is the author. I met him at one of the EXP events. Quite an amazing guy. He's very successful in a lot of ways. But speaking of his effectiveness ladder and the 4 rungs, I'm just going to kind of walk you through those. And I find it really relevant in my life right now, and it might be in yours as well. But the first rung is just becoming aware that you have a need, right? There's new technology coming out at lightning speed. And before you have this awareness, you don't even know what you don't know, right? So the first rung is just becoming aware of something, because we don't know what we don't know. And he uses a very simplistic example in here that we can all relate to. And he's like, what if you had never heard of a global navigation system? Your life is living on and you're doing what you're doing and you don't even know it exists. You don't even think you need it, right? But when you become aware about anything, let's see, you have no awareness of them and would not even realize they might be of practical value to you, of these technology things. You don't even know about it. But once you know about it, you have to kind of, the second rung is clarifying the need. So you have to clarify the need. If we chased everything that we learned about that's new and shiny, right? We hear shiny objects all the time, especially in real estate, and we're chasing these magic pills, if you will, or all these different things. But we need to clarify our need and see what fits into it. So I'm going to read a couple of the things I underlined. On this rung of the effectiveness ladder, you become aware of what you did not know. However, you still can't do whatever it is that you did not know. So in his analogy of the global navigation system, it's like, now you're aware of it, you know about it, but you really don't know how to use it. It's there, but do I really need it in my life? And I wrote down, yeah, we do not need to pursue everything that we become aware of. Is it important to us, right? We need to sift and sort all the things that's coming at us and make a decision either to move forward or to ignore it and walk away. But once we clarify that it is a need for us, then rung 3 is to focus on the need. Okay, so backing up, become aware of the need, clarifying the need, and now focus on the need. So you're embracing the need that you've discovered. So in the case of using a global navigation system, it could mean that you have browsed the manual and you have explored its basic operation, but you still have to think carefully about everything you do, right? How many of you, even in real estate, found that? You're new to real estate, you are just learning, you still have to look at your notes, you have to ask your mentor, and you're in this evolution of implementation of this new thing that's part of your life. You can apply that to all these technologies that you didn't know about and now you know about. 2 in my life right now that I'm focusing on, that I'm in this focus on the need, is cryptocurrency and AI. Those are things that I used to know zero about. Did my voice just crack again? What's going on with that, man? Zero, like literally, I heard about it. Then I kind of like knew the definition of what it was. It sounds all weird. How does that work? You can either pursue it or you can ignore it, right? It's like, that's too complicated. I'm not going to do anything about it. But it's really interesting to me, the people I'm meeting, the people I'm talking to that are further along in their discovery of these things and how it's impacted their life, and how both of those things I really believe are going to impact all of our lives, whether we're involved in it or not. So those are 2 personal examples for me where I feel like I'm on rung 3, where I'm focusing on the need and I'm getting educated and I'm having conversations. So rung 4, then the top rung, is executing the need. Okay. This is where the action you take To accomplish the task in question becomes second nature to you, and you are able to execute and deploy the skills you have learned with effectiveness. That's a really good one here because we can compare this to real estate, right? I'm going to read it again. The actions you take to accomplish the task in question become second nature to you, and you are able to execute and deploy the skills you've learned with effectiveness. So some of you are on rung 4 in real estate, and your clientele is just in that don't know what they don't know phase of the first rung, but they know they need to know. So there's the awareness now, and you can help them up the ladder, right? That's a great analogy. A couple other things I underlined in this section is you know your subject and have practiced long enough to do it with minimal thought or effort. Does that sound familiar with real estate in some aspects, especially when you're talking to your clientele? And sometimes, if you're like me, because we know what we know, we don't clarify things enough. We maybe talk too fast or brush over acronyms or different things, and it can be confusing. So it's a skill to develop to actually slow down, like was mentioned here by, I think, James, just talk slower. It applies to thankfulness, but also to this too, and help them understand what you know, because when it comes so easy, and I know I suffer from this, I say things and they're like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And it's like so clear to me, right? But I didn't set it up properly. So continuing with the global navigation system illustration, you can now turn it on and effortlessly use it. It has become a powerful tool in your life, and you don't even have to think about using it. Okay, so that's what happens on rung 4. So the reason I wanted to share that, in fact, when I was reading this, I didn't even know I was going to do this today, but I was like, oh, that would be a great, parting thoughts or something from our mastermind to put that in your mind, because technology and the speed of life is like lightning speed. But let's separate the confusion of like, oh, I got to learn about this. I got to learn about this. I got to learn about this. If there's not a need for it in your life, or you haven't looked at it close enough to decipher whether or not there is a need in your life for it, you can't chase everything. You can't go up the rung of this ladder on every new thing you hear about. You have to sift, you have to sort, you have to say, this is applicable to me, like I've done with the cryptocurrency and the AI development and those tools that are rapidly evolving. Those are changes in our world that are coming whether we pay attention or not. So I've chosen those two things lately to really focus on and implement in my life and diversify as far as when the crypto comes from my real estate portfolio, and be in a space that is growing at tremendous speed. And I feel like I'm getting left behind. So those are some things that I wanted to just kind of leave with you guys. Those 4 rungs again are awareness, becoming aware of the need, something you don't know what you don't know. And then you need to clarify that need. By clarification that's really the key word, is clarifying what is important to you in your life. And it may not be AI, it may not be cryptocurrency, it may not be real estate, it may not, whatever. But by clarifying what's important to you, that's when then you go to the 3rd rung and focus on that thing so that you can start learning more about it, to where eventually you're on rung 4 and you're executing. So that's my thoughts for you guys to kind of pay attention this week, observe all the new concepts and ideas that are coming at you, and just analyzing it is like, is this worth my time? Because I've thought that cryptocurrency and AI is worth my time for a long time, and I haven't done anything about it. I've just, okay, there's this thing, oh, I really need to do that, I really need to do that, but I'm not taking any action whatsoever. So this last month has been or a couple of months has been a good pivot for me, as I've taken actions on the things that I've actually know that I need to implement in my life. So there you have it. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Sure makes sense that awareness would be one of the first rungs, right? Just being aware that you need to, figure out what you need to get clarity on and how you can focus on it. You have to be aware of it first, that it is a need. I like that. So just taking note of what do I need to be aware of that I want to or need to do in life to make those improvements in whatever topic it is, personal business or, outside of real estate too. I love that.
Super cool.
Things are moving fast. I love everything we've learned about AI recently too. Just, the trainings we've had recently and how it can help in your real estate business. But it's so interesting how simple some of it can be, but the application is what's so important. It's like, how do I take that to the next step? How do I turn in using, AI or chat and turning it into something that actually is useful in my business, that is creating advertisement or connections that lead to repeat business? How do I take it from learning it to actually having it benefit financially and relationship wise? I think that's one of the rungs. Could be focus, right?
It is. And I think that that's a perfect analogy that is affecting all of our lives anyway. And so as you go through this progression of these rungs, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to dive in. I'm going to start learning. Like in this example, it's like, yeah, I've read the manual. I still have to refer back to it once in a while, but have you actually implemented it? Have you tried it? Have you taken action steps? Because the more action steps and the practice you use, hopefully we all get to that rung 4 when it comes to that technology. It's like, I don't even think about it. Yeah, I use it every day. I mean, I had an hour-long conversation with Alan Blood about AI and the things that he's doing. And the conversation started off with him saying, yeah, I'm not really doing that much. I'm just kind of dabbling. By the end of the conversation, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? You're doing more than 90% of the people I know. But yet he still feels like he's just scratching the surface, right? And so the old saying, if you want to be great at anything, you have to be willing to suck at it at first. And I think that's where the implementation stops for a lot of us. Is it's uncomfortable. I don't know. I just feel stupid. It doesn't make sense. Good comparison is looking back when email first came out. It's fun to watch some news clips and YouTube stuff of people talking about email when it first came out, that they're just like, how does this even work? I mean, you just push a button and all of a sudden somebody else has it. It doesn't make any sense to me that my letter can just show up on their computer. And the conversations were just so old school because this was a new implementation that hadn't been adopted yet or implemented by these people that are making these comments. Is like, I just don't even understand this. So you either retreat from it or you move towards it. So there's a lot of things similar in their lives that way. The end, James. Okay, we're doing good on time. It's 10:57. Any final thoughts on agent attraction, Eric? You're muted. Oh, you good?
Hold, please.
Oh, hold, hold, please.
Yeah, let me, give me 1 second. I lost it.
While Eric's looking at that, I will mention something. So for those of you who went to Cabo, remember when Phil Stringer gave us his kind of 5-step thing to create an agent attraction email? So I've done that, and I don't know how it worked out. I have 49 weeks of emails to send out, and it'll be one a week. Shane and I will send those out after we kind of finish rebranding, but we're going to start doing that. And honestly, it took me a while, but in that process of answering questions and coming up with our unique value proposition, I learned a lot about EXP. And so I think, one, not only as you're kind of using AI to do that for either agent attraction or even client attraction or whatever, you can learn a lot about EXP, which is a benefit to you because you're going to have more just more possibilities for clients. Because there's something called Curbio. This is one that I was kind of impressed with, is that let's say your client doesn't have any money and it absolutely needs new carpet and like some new windows and stuff. If you use Curbio, you can go through those and it'll get fixed. And the client's portion of that can actually be paid at closing, which is a great resource for some people. But then that's just one of the things that I learned about, and they have a whole section for like listings or buyers or things specific for the agent or for the client or all sorts of things. So I got a lot out of it, and now I'm going to be able to kind of put that out in email format and just kind of send it to people and just kind of slowly trickle to them all the exciting things that are going on with EXP. And hopefully if they find something that's a good fit for them, they can add that onto their business and find some success. But that's my spiel.
I love it. I love it.
All right, Jeff, I'll jump in. So I just had a few thoughts on agent attraction today. A couple stats too that might be interesting to some. If you've been in EXP or heard of EXP long enough, you will hear maybe once in a while an agent will say, "Oh, you guys recruit. That's what you guys do." And what's interesting about that statement is EXP is the number one brokerage in transactions closed in the US. I mean, our brokerage is absolutely a real estate closing company first, and that is what we do. And this stat I thought was pretty amazing. Only 4% of EXP agents out of 90,000 have sponsored 5 or more agents in EXP. So the actual amount of agents out there that are really attracting and recruiting other agents is very low. So what that means is there's a tremendous opportunity for those that want to create some revenue share with agent attraction to do that, because so few are actually doing it in EXP. And certainly in whatever area we're living in, there's just going to be a very small number of agents that are actually, making it a focus to attract. So when I think about, well, there's not very many people attracting, but we have a lot of agents, and we have such a good record of closings and transactions with EXP. It's like, why is that? Why do we have, is it we just have tremendous amount of training or tools? Yes, that's part of it. But the real reason, I think, is because EXP attracts agents that are producers. So when you're out in the world of real estate and you're talking to agents and you meet agents that are really good, do a good job, and do great business, those are the agents that you really want to take the opportunity to let them know and introduce them to what they might be missing out in their current brokerage. It's really just knowledge. And why agents come to EXP is because they do not know about the benefits of our stock ownership, our revenue share, and what they could be leaving on the table if they're closing 25 or 30 transactions or more. So those top agents come to EXP because mathematically it makes so much sense. So take the opportunity to share with those that you like, right? That could fit into our tribe. Another thing is a lot of those agents, the 90,000 agents, a lot of them found EXP on their own, or maybe their sponsor doesn't do as much real estate, or they don't help them out. We are so fortunate with what we have in our group here of weekly trainings and weekly meetings to really gently introduce other agents to what we do. So like the class on Wednesday that Jeff is teaching, this is not just perfect for us, but it's fantastic for other agents that also invest in real estate. But take it to the next level and say to an agent, I know that you work with investors and that like to purchase properties and rentals. This would be a great class for you to attend so you can get some talking points that you can share with your clients that invest in real estate. So think about how it can help other agents sell more properties. And then for yourself, as a side note, invite your investor clients to learn and get some more information on Jeff and Lynn's experience too over the years of real estate they've done. So just kind of step back and say, who do I know that I've loved working with in the last few years, or agents that I know that could benefit from a class like this. And let that be a soft introduction to EXP and what we're all about. We're really fortunate to have this opportunity. I know there's lots of EXP agents that said, man, I just wish someone was out there that would take the lead and do some classes once a week I could invite people to, instead of just sending them an attraction video. So take advantage of that. It's a huge benefit for us. And then a final point too is above and beyond what Jeff and Lynn do. We have a great group of agents that can help us. I always think of Matt and Patrick Ashby, who have an incredible story. So if you have someone that's been investigating an EXP, or someone that you want to take a quick look, they have some great tools. And they have an amazing story of going from 20 agents to 100 agents to really close to about 2,000 agents now in a few different countries, that they've just been really consistent and treated it like a business. And that's life-changing. It's generational money that is changing their family forever. And they've done it in just a few years of really working really hard. So a lot of tools and a lot of great things. So I just want to encourage everybody to keep it in the forefront of your mind when you're talking to people. It's like, how could I help this agent, and introduce them to something that can really help change their lives. I'm going to drop in a couple of videos too. I don't know, probably everybody on here has probably seen these, but these are
Click on those and open them up before chat's closed.
I just dropped the Ashby Google file address in chat too.
let's see.
Awesome, Nathan. So Eric, a couple of things that you said more than one time was talking points and stories. So in connection with agent attraction, but also in connection with like investing in the training that I'm doing on Wednesday. If you don't have those kind of stories, steal Matt Ashby's story, steal Eric's story, steal my stories about investing, and say, my friend Eric, ... Because that's what people are going to connect with, is the stories, right? It's not just details and data. It's a story is going to help people understand how that actually is applicable in their life. But not only that, we remember stories. We remember examples of real transactions instead of just the numbers, right? So steal those, borrow whatever, make them your own. Not stating that you actually did those things, but as far as include all of us in your conversations for the things that are relevant to people. Another thing Eric mentioned in the attraction is everybody's looking for something different. So if it's okay, if I put a couple of you on the spot, and Sabrina, you being the newest, I get to pick on you too, but real briefly, can you just tell the other agents that are on this call what were you looking for, and what helped you in your decision to say, yep, I think EXP is where my next home is?
So for me, it was with being dually licensed in Kentucky and in Utah, the opportunity that I didn't have to pay multiple fees, right? So it was one brokerage that went across state lines, and then I could really grow my business in Utah along with Kentucky. So it wasn't just limited to one state. And then being able to connect with agents all around the United States and the world is awesome too. Especially, and then thinking it on like the investor side, just having more connections with people who invest in real estate, who do property flips or do rentals and things like that. Just having that knowledge base is great to be able to be connected with.
That is awesome. I would say that a lot of us would agree with that, the collaboration. And what we would also say is, you ain't seen nothing yet. If we could have understood how great the collaboration is and how deep it really goes before we joined, it would have been even better. But once you experience it and you say, oh, wow, you know, I was excited for this, but I didn't realize it was really gonna be that great. Because collaboration is probably one of the strongest things that EXP has, and everybody you meet, especially if you go to the events and stuff like that, so willing to help and take EXP organizations out the way, right? You know, as far as sponsorship goes, it doesn't matter here. We're all willing to help each other because we're all part of the same team. So I love that, Sabrina. Thanks for sharing that. And Hillary, if you're there, I haven't seen your video on yet. Maybe you're multitasking, but just to kind of wrap this up, if you have a second, if you're listening, can you do the same thing? What was it that made you decide that EXP is where your home needed to be? She's like, he gave me an out and I'm taking it. Alrighty then, guys, that's a wrap. Lynn, I haven't heard from you yet. Wrap us up. Unmute yourself. There you go.
I talk, I start doing the coughing thing again. So anyway, what have I gotten from EXP? I'll go there. It's almost been 5 years. I've got someone that just brought earnest money into me and she's coming back in the office. So I gotta go. Mwah.
Stay tuned next week.
I'll say it for her. The end. Okay, guys, love you all. Reach out if you need any conversation, help with anything, whatever. We're here. Okay, see you Wednesday, hopefully.
Thank you.
See ya.
See you guys.